Not yet, I think.
You're on right now.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Peace Island's Women's History Month celebration. What a fabulous event. What can be better than just celebrating women, right? So before we start, I just want to mention that a little bit about Peace Islands. I am a volunteer. I've been a volunteer since I moved to New Jersey in May 2018. And Peace Islands is a nonprofit organization that focuses on interfaith and intercultural dialogue along with community service. So we have different programs for our different communities here in New Jersey, including the Turkish American community and other communities. And our aim is to uphold mutual respect and peace and organize events that celebrate diversity and kindness and love. And this is one of those, and I feel grateful to be the moderator today. I have been so excited about this event. I bought a t-shirt for this event, Empowered Women, Empower Women. So thank you for joining us. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker. I feel very lucky to have her here today. She is Linda, who has a degree in English and a Master of Fine Arts in Painting and Ceramics. Her whole professional life has circled around education and the arts, two very valuable areas. She has taught art in formal classroom settings from every level, from pre-K to college. Now it was her lifelong dream, and she finally has her own ceramics studio, while also holding many leadership positions at community art organizations and galleries. And she would like to speak to us about the importance of Women's History Month. So Linda, the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Dr. Yurt, Director Ozdemir, other honored guests, and everyone here tonight, assembled to Zoom together, honoring women, reflecting on the arts during this very strange time. I'm so happy to be invited back to speak with you. These have been unbelievable years, and here we are Zooming. I find it immensely ironic that our primary way of meeting this year has been through a medium named Zoom, when that is precisely what we've not been allowed to do in reality, to Zoom anywhere. And yet we cling to the word. Very strange. There's no denying all that has been lost over this long year, including the untimely deaths of so many of those we love. I do not believe we can ever speak about the pandemic without pausing to remember all of that and the deep sorrow that it caused. When I think of the early days of the quarantine, it's the arts that provide the most vivid memories. The Italian towns filled with spontaneous music and song, the violinist in Cremona performing on a rooftop for healthcare workers and patients in the hospital across the street, the children's choruses performing together while each of them are in their own quarantine space, dancers and other performers taking to YouTube and Facebook to share their gifts and lift spirits, artist teachers giving lessons for free for children and adults, and even authors of children's books reading bedtime stories online so that exhausted parents could just sit and cuddle with them and listen with their children. When the weather warmed here in Metuchen, a woman musician organized a musical walkabout. 15 music groups on 15 porches throughout town, performing for passersby and anyone who wanted to stay and listen. It was a huge success. Yes, the arts featured largely during this strange static period. And even as we were holding our breath almost through most of it, the arts allowed us to breathe, even if just a little, and allowed the whole of the earth to breathe more freely, quieting our mechanical noises, lessening the chemicals and fumes and toxins we regularly send into the atmosphere. But the truth is, what we've experienced, and to a degree continue to experience, is really a time out of time, a time-space moment, sometimes referred to as liminal time, an in-between moment, a portal, as it were, into a new time and a new space. At the very beginning, for myself, of this period of lockdown, I began a large ceramic installation that had been in my sketchbook for decades. It took the first 4 months of quarantine to complete, and it was a door surround, a portal. And the very week in early June we finished installing it, I received a pamphlet with a series of essays about how we were living in a time that is an in-between time, a portal, an opening into something new. To say I was blown away is putting it mildly. Now, let me share, oh, not that. Let me share screen. Okay, so there we are. And can I pull it over so you can see it? And that is it. I was definitely taken back when I realized what I had wanted to do for years and had just spent 4 months creating was the very image of what this was at the heart of the quarantine. My desire was to create something both beautiful and welcoming, something that clearly defined one space from another, the outside from the inside, but something that created a sense of excitement to be passing through. I included a river of mirror chips in it to add movement and life, and they twinkle and wink as you walk by, even from the sidewalk, and add energy to the work. I included recognizable objects and forms to draw the visitor in, and other forms that evidenced the enthusiasm of those inside to welcome the visitor. And yet, as you know, ironically, we have not been able to welcome anyone through that portal, which is the front door of our home, for all these months, nearly a year now since its completion. Because in liminal time space, we remain in the portal, in neither the place where we were, nor the place where we're heading. In this in-between time, there is undeniable anxiety, as we have experienced, unsettledness, and basically a sense of mystery. And yet, it is a place of power. While we are neither here nor there, we have an opportunity to get ready, to prepare, to consider what was and begin to shape what will be. We stand on the threshold, neither in the time place we inhabited before, nor the one we will enter. Portal time calls us to tarry, not rush through, to accept our vulnerability and uncertainty. While many have gazed upon my portal, no one has actually passed through it. Now, I want to stop that. Okay, now, in the Tibetan language, there is no word for creativity, because for them, to be human is to be creative. And so for the one who creates, which is all of us, liminal time is essential. It allows us to see things differently. And over again recently, I have heard friends, from college professors to business people to educators, administrators, each in their own way saying, we have learned so much from this. I came upon this comment on one of the sites I'm associated with online, and I read the quote directly. She says, "It feels like the pandemic clarified so much for me and my husband about parenting, and we have become much more intentional and purposeful about what the next season of family life will look like for us." Liminal time forces us to look deeply and to let go of what was, of what is really not necessary, to remove unnecessary layers. And as humans, we are created to create, to leave the familiar, to cross thresholds, to give birth to bold new ideas. We are invited to the borderlands of the known, to imagine a new earth, to imagine a new way of being for ourselves, a new way of being in relationship with others. As the Tibetans so inherently know, to be human is to be creative. So as we begin to tentatively peer into that new space and time, while still sitting within the portal, let us be willing to let go of what should not go with us. Let us not be too anxious to make things normal again in the way we knew before, and not simply reclothe ourselves in garments that no longer fit. Now, to finish, what I'd like to do is just give you a few details of the portal that I created so that you can see it a little closer. At the very top are our little state flower, our little violets. And, they're such low little things. I thought I'd put them up high. This shape, as is on both sides, was an effort to bring people in, almost a hug, an embrace of welcome. And this form, these branch-like forms, in a sense of arms reaching out and pulling people in, and those on the inside showing the enthusiasm for welcoming. At the base are these big solid leaves, again, to give it a sense of solidity. And so the whole of it to work together. But we're still sitting here inside the portal. Can't go through it yet, but we're on our way. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda. That was just so beautiful. I'm in awe. I am a fellow art lover. I have a literature major. And I really liked how you mentioned that during this time, art has been such a great source of healing for us, right? So I guess my question to you is, do you think we'll be able to keep that with us when we go back to, let's say, the quote, new normal, or once we enter through the portal? What do you think?
I think that's up to each individual. I was heartened. I've been heartened by all of the folks that I have heard comment about how different they vision things in the future. And when I came upon that quote that I read by that she's a mother of four, that it really has given her and her husband a very new insight into their relationship with their children, the fact that they are growing. It almost probably seemed like they were really little at the start of the pandemic, and yet now, they see them with different eyes. And so I think that's the gift of what this time has been. That it has called us to see things with different eyes. And my hope is that lots of people will do that. And it sounds like businesses and certainly schools and, the folks that I'm in close contact with, they are in agreement that nothing will be the same, and they will be shedding lots of what now seems very extraneous. So I have great hope.
Yeah, me too. And I think one aspect to why art and creativity may have become important during this time, I don't know if you would agree, but we all were in just such a rush before the pandemic, right? And I feel like we found the time to just sit and reflect. And with that reflection, some of us just found it inevitable to now create something, right? So I hope that when we're back to the new normal, that reflection and that moment of just sitting and thinking and reflecting and being creative stays with us.
Oh, that's certainly my hope. And so many people, especially women, had a real desire to do creative things. But again, as you said, didn't have the time, too rushed, too many other things. But this provided the time, and blessedly they took it. They didn't have to take it to do that, but they chose to. And from what I have seen, are really happy that they've done it, and hopefully it will continue to inform their lives. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. That was beautiful. So now moving on to the next very exciting part of our program. So when we were planning this event, we thought of different ways that we could celebrate women, right? And it's hard to do, as you said, in the current Zoom world where we lack this interpersonal connection. So we had to really brainstorm, how can we appreciate the women around us, especially after all they've done during the past year? And one idea we had was to interview and appreciate the frontliners, the women sheroes that have worked for us, for our safety, for our healing, for our education during the past year. And so thankfully, so many of the women that we reached out to replied, and the volunteers at Peace Islands Institute interviewed them. And then we created a collage of videos, which I will now play, where we asked them about the past year, asked them to send a message to us. And this is our way to just celebrate all the women in this video and beyond this video for all that they have done during the past year. So I will share now my screen and my video.
My name is Mary Rose Kaplan. I am an adjunct professor at Montclair State University.
Ms. Moya Keating. Currently, I am working as a grief counselor.
Hello, my name is Seniha Isudoglu. I'm a neurologist.
My name is Kalia Douglas. I am currently an officer with Edison Police Department.
Hi everyone. Hi, my name is Dr. Helen Yuan. I'm an OBGYN.
My name is Melinda Cardillo. I am a second grade teacher for the Board of Education in Montville.
Yeah, hi, I'm Kate Duggan. I'm the Executive Director of Family Promise of Bergen County.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Sarmiento, and I work as a registered nurse.
My name is Brenna Hopler. I am a volunteer firefighter here.
My name is Mariana Reyes.
My name is Dr. Sudha Wadwani, and I am a psychologist and the coordinator of outreach and prevention.
How to continue and support my students moving from in-person, in the classroom, lectures, and assignments to a completely online environment unexpectedly for everybody.
The the challenge this year of loved ones who weren't able to see their family member because of COVID restrictions is absolutely heartbreaking.
We still have to perform CPR. We still have to, go out and save a life. So whether or not somebody has an exposure or is COVID positive, we still go out there and we make sure that you live another day.
One of the challenging things was trying to protect my family because we work in healthcare and I'm exposed every day. So I think that was one of the hard parts.
It was a challenge getting everybody to go online and, even learning the platform of Zoom. Like now we're experts at it, but at the time we never used that. So that was a really big challenge.
Well, when COVID struck, they too moved their residents into 4 local motels. And the question was, how were they going to be fed?
And wearing all this N95 and PPEs for 12 hours straight was really hard for us.
So because I got the COVID-19 the last year, for 21 days, I get sick at home, my husband and I. So we had all the symptoms.
A year it was and kind of has been. There's so much, there's so much pain in our country, so much pain every morning in the news and the news alerts on waking up feeling panicky some mornings because of what was going on in our country and all the loss and all the pain.
I think the positive that has come from that experience for me has been the connections that I've been able to have because of the online environment, because of being able to meet for Zoom.
Being very, very careful, my husband and I were able to be present at my son's wedding. And a very small group of us in an open air ceremony. And that was a very touching moment.
Because you never notice how much you actually miss somebody until you can't see them. And so that was kind of taken away from a lot of us if you don't live in the same household with somebody. So human interaction.
I am so happy that we are called heroes and people are appreciating more of our value in the society.
But still during this time, we had a woman who got her commercial driver's license. And this woman just kept getting knocked down and she kept getting back up and going. And on Christmas Eve, she took her test and she passed.
It was a happy moment when we didn't have any place to go. So that fast pace, on the go with my own kids after working all day, that was nice. That was happy for me that we were just home together and safe and healthy.
I spoke to my family all days. 3 times per day, they support me and my husband. And all my co-workers was calling me, send me message that I need to be strong, I'm gonna be fine.
Was just taking in everything that I had. I cherished every single thing that was in my life, my family, this family, my job, and just taking all that in, that's what made me happy. It was very simplistic, very easy.
I got a puppy right before COVID, but she ended up being our COVID support animal. But it's amazing how everyone in the family thinks that they're her favorite, and it's really been a very sweet part of the year.
I think one thing that made me happy recently was, when the first round of vaccines came out from the pandemic and, gave us all hope. And
the lesson that I've gotten is from this whole experience of the pandemic is to be flexible, to learn to be flexible, and to just kind of have a little bit of faith that we can work through it. There's a way to work through it.
The reverberation of how the pandemic has affected people reminds us the ways that we are all connected and that we have to take care of each other and be global community.
Take care of yourself. Women are, it's hard to be a woman, and make sure you take care of yourself.
This is a time of really coming together, and I applaud all of your efforts, big and small, to help each other and keep our communities and the people in them safe. And I'm in awe by everyone's generosity and kindness.
You have to really take time for yourself. You have to protect your mental and your emotional sanity.
And I would like to encourage everyone to support each other in all aspects of life.
Appreciate the moment. If you don't wear a mask, wear it for everybody else.
I would like to encourage all women to seek their rights and make informed decisions about their lives and their health. Thank you.
Now that it's 2021, just keep going.
Keep your social distancing, wear your mask all the time, wash your hands, eat well, stay safe, stay at home if you don't need to go outside.
Now, as we start this new year, a new season very shortly, to really mindfully and intentionally think about how we've grown in this past year and how we want it to add to our lives.
I can't think of one woman. I would probably be up at night worried about that. Many women, including yourself, that are students of mine. My advisor, who I mentioned earlier, Dr. Baden, for sure, is a woman that has helped me. Renee, Suni, these relationships with these women are incredible. The work that they do in different areas in ways that are similar.
My mom, he doesn't live here. Her name is Alina Arencibia. He lives in Cuba. He's my hero. He's my support. He's everything for me.
That woman hero would be my mom, because I know that I'm not going to be here without her. And
I think my woman hero is going to be my mom.
Can you tell her name so everybody knows her name?
Oh.
Yeah. So
Susan.
Susan.
Yeah.
All the women in my family for raising me or showing me the direction that I should go in to be the best version of myself.
I would thank all of the women that do what I do, being a volunteer, being in the first responder aspect, but let's be real, I got to thank my mom. She's the lady that grew me up to who I am, so she's the main hero in this story.
I have a good friend that I haven't seen as the pandemic started. She is a nurse in Hackensack, and her name is Katie Abazi, and she's an amazing person, but she's also an amazing nurse, and her husband is a doctor there, so I know they've been through a lot, so I would like to thank them.
So our founder, the founder of Family Promise, Nancy Woods, passed away this year. And she was just a wonderful woman. And our organization certainly would not be where it is today had it not been for Nancy Woods.
I thought of my big sister who faced a cancer diagnosis with kind of a warrior spirit. She's very strong, but she also had a tremendous sense of humor, and she loved to laugh. With so many challenges, I remember the wisdom she gave me about remembering to laugh, about remembering to look up and to see the sky, and remember the joyful parts of this life.
Tomorrow is my grandmother's birthday, my Nani, my maternal grandmother, who passed 12 years ago. My Nani was an incredibly resilient woman. She'd been through so much in her life, and was just so strong.
So I got so emotional editing that video. I got so emotional watching that video. I just want to thank every single woman in that video again, and for all the other frontliners who kept us safe during the past year. It was a difficult, difficult year, but it was so nice to hear their wisdom, for them to share their challenges, for them to share their happy moments. So for the audience that's watching, who are your women heroes? Put them in the chat. Let's appreciate them. Let's empower each other. And without further ado, I am going to invite Assemblywoman to thank our women heroes. So Assemblywoman Brittany Timberlake received her Bachelor of Science at Seton Hall University in Political Science and her Master of Political Arts in Seton Hall University in Public Administration. She has served as freeholder president of Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, where she was at the time the state's only African-American woman to serve as a freeholder board leader. Currently, she has been representing the 34th Legislative District in New Jersey General Assembly since January 2018. So first, I would like to thank you for your service, Assemblywoman, and I invite you to thank all the other Sheroes.
Thank you so much, Zeynep. And that was really a beautiful video. It certainly made me emotional as well. And the keynote speech from Linda, that was also incredibly moving. You're hired. I would love for you to do art at my house outside of our portal, because it was really truly lovely. And I have a hobby of mine is art. I usually choose to paint, but it certainly does get us through a lot, the arts. So thank you so much for doing that. You know, you said that we have to remember not to clothe ourselves in garments that no longer fit. You don't have to worry about that. I got pregnant and had a baby during COVID, so those garments that no longer fit, I've said bye-bye to. The ladies know what I'm talking about here. It's Women's History Month. We do it all. We birth, we lead. We have had so many people on the front line, and looking at that video, the thing that I love the most about it is it shows the diversity in women and the diversity in our professions and the different things that we are able to do. I'm often asked, what advice do I have to give to women? And I always say the same answer, and that is do what it is that you desire to do. And that's so incredibly important, because a woman who can make a decision for herself is truly an empowered woman. And Zeynep, I know you have your Empowered Women, Empower Women shirt, and that's what it's all about. Yes. Yeah, and you know, just for all of the first responders out there and everyone who got us through COVID, thank you so much. Women, we balanced it all. And it's interesting because I saw a Zoom topic that another organization's having, where they're going to be talking about the effects of COVID and what it has had on women, especially as we've not only balanced it all by sitting here behind Zooms and continuing to work, but also managing the children and managing the household. And, you know, I often think of our arms as like an octopus, where we have so many of them in different areas and things. And it's important to mention that as we continue to do it all, that New Jersey has the strongest equal pay laws in the country, but still currently, Black women make 63 cents on the dollar in comparison to what white males make. Latino women, 54 cents, Asian women, 87%, white women, 79%. And you can follow the trend from there. And we just have to keep that at the forefront of understanding what true equality is. And it's great to be celebrated, but we also have to have equity, true equity and equality, so that we can, you know, be as helpful to our households as we truly are to the world, and be compensated for our skills and our values and our brains. And it's amazing all the things that we can do. So to all the Sheroes out there, my Sheroes are my mother and my grandmother who passed away My grandmother was a sharecropper in Durham, North Carolina. I just have to talk about her for a second because it's Women's History Month, and I just really need to make mention of her. And she also then worked as a chef, and she left North Carolina during what's called in history the Black Migration. And she came to New York, was the first of her siblings, got settled in Harlem, and then sent back for all of her siblings. She taught herself how to read, and then she taught her siblings she's one of 4 sisters and also has brothers too, but she taught her sisters how to read, and she's just a phenomenal woman, and I love her so much, and I miss her every single day. God rest her soul. But women, just thank you. And what we do in the community, we can never say thank you enough for. Peace Island Institute is one of the most phenomenal institutes. They are so good. Let me tell you about how much they've helped the community and how much they even have been on the front line of the food insecurity issue, and have donated thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of meat to families who are in need, and to anyone. And their hearts are so incredibly big. And thank you, Adam, for inviting me, and Zenab, and Dr. Yurt and Linda. It's an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Assemblywoman. I also want to quickly mention before I forget that you can find the longer version of the interviews where we didn't clip anything on Peace Island's channel. This was a shorter video that I clipped together for this event, but make sure that you watch the other one too, because the woman in that video just shares such wisdom, and I would love for everyone to hear the whole thing. It will be saved on our channel, so you can share it with anyone you'd like. So now I would like to invite Dr. Yurt to speak to our audience. She works at Novartis Pharmaceutical Company as the Global Head of Advanced Analytics Solutions. She also serves as the board president at Peace Islands Institute. She's been actively coordinating interfaith programs for the last year, and I think everyone will agree when I say that she is definitely a woman hero of our community.
Thank you, Zainab. I'm not sure if I deserve the introduction, but I definitely feel so already with the esteemed Linda, Brittany, Assemblywoman. Your story was awesome. I was really impressed with the story of your grandmother as well. I think it is really critical. I mean, all the work that everybody is doing. I mean, and I think what I loved about the video and Linda's speech as well, right? Art comes together, effort comes together, diversity comes together, and passion. At the end of the day, from everyone who was speaking in that video, as well as in Linda's speech as well, you can see here the passion that's actually coming through. And I think that's kind of what makes women heroes different, right? Heroes, basically. I think they do everything with a passion, with no complaints. And I'm sure, like, as I was, before I came to this event, I was discussing with a group of volunteers, I mean, mainly women on Peace Island's group. And we were discussing how much they did. They became a teacher overnight. They became a babysitter overnight, but then they also had all of other titles that they need to do. They became homemakers, which they were most probably partially were doing anyhow overnight with the COVID, with all the pressure. I think all the heroes, and just the fact that they were able to take themselves through this year, as well as their families through this year, I think makes them already superheroes. And obviously everyone who has actually done much more with being the frontline workers, being the volunteers, I think that's kind of critical. So I definitely want to thank everyone, all the esteemed guests tonight, and thank you so much for being with us on behalf of Peace Islands. Definitely thank you so much on all the efforts, Zainab, to you, and as well as all the preparation that went into today's event. I think we all feel already special just being part of this event, and I hope our watchers on our channel also feels as such. And obviously a big thank you goes to Adam as well. Basically we have to celebrate women together, right? Because then that's basically what makes the economical aspect, like this equal pay, everything change in the society. I think that was a great point, Assemblywoman Timberlake, because I actually am an economist by training myself, and I think those are the critical aspects. We all love passion and we all are there, but at the end of the day, we have to look at some metrics to make sure that we are really creating equity, not only equality, meaning we deserve, you know, the effort and the energy and the equality in a way that we all are appreciated with the effort that we put into the community and the society. So thank you so much for tonight's event to everyone, and I hope to see all of you at some other event in Peace Islands, maybe in person at some point soon. So we all look forward to that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ewart. That was so beautiful. So I think with that, we conclude our program. But before we leave, I encourage everyone who's watching us to go thank a woman in their lives today, or thank all of them, and not just today, right? Every day. It's up to us to uphold each other. We're nothing without each other. And as everyone in the video said, women just do so much. And so let's appreciate each other. And if you're ever in a place where you see a woman not being able to speak up for them, right? If you see an injustice happening to a woman, help them. And if you see a woman winning something or like being successful, celebrate them, right? That's our aim. We're here for each other. And I want to thank everyone for joining us. As I said, I was just so excited for this event, and it turned out to be much more beautiful than I imagined. I'm left feeling in awe and so emotional. And I also want to thank the Shiros who were in our interview video who joined us today. This program was to appreciate you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Have a lovely rest of the day. Have a lovely rest of the week. And remember to celebrate each other. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thanks.